All right, well, it's impossible to end the show on that note, so we're going to get a few questions in here, Jim, or a few topics at least that people have been sending in. I have several different articles here. I have one. This is from earlier in the weekend. I think it's apropos to talk about it because this is a follow-up on something from several years back.
Uh-oh. Long-term storytelling.
I have an article from the Wrestling Observer newsletter website. The headline, Tessa Blanchard details past mental health struggles. Chelsea Green responds. Here's what it says.
What is Chelsea Green knocking her about her mental health struggles, or what's going on there?
I believe in the past, when we talked about the previous issues, not the purported toilet video, but the actual issues that caused Tessa Blanchard to be shunned from mainstream women's wrestling in the States, it was a bunch of women coming out, and it's been a few years. We may recognize the names now. I got to go back and see. We'll find out in a moment. Saying that she said racist things, or she did this, or she did that. So according to this previously, one of the people was Chelsea Green. You've consistently put down, bullied, and belittled countless female coworkers, including me. Is that support? Because remember, it started where she put out some kind of quote that you should also, all the women should support each other.
Women's wrestling, yes.
And then everyone said, you're an asshole, you're the least supportive person we've ever met.
And so she was racist to Chelsea just because poor Chelsea is Canadian?
Well, I don't remember if that's how it was. Allison Kay, another wrestler. Remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you supporting women? The audacity of this tweet. Audacity all in caps. I remember that one now. Isla Dawn. She's one of the WWE Tag Team Champions, right?
Apparently.
As someone who experienced your bullying firsthand, received regular verbal abuse, was spat on, had rumors spread about me, dealt with multiple attempts by you to blacklist me from other companies, plus more.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry to laugh at that, but just plus more got me.
Plus more. Now with tomato.
I just pray you now follow your own advice. Blanchard, who now works a full-time schedule with CMLL in Mexico, says she would not change anything about her career as it made her the wrestler and person she is today. Here's a few quotes. I wouldn't change anything about the peaks, the valleys, the way my career has been. I wouldn't change anything because I'm very proud of the woman that I am now and the wrestler that I am today and where my career is.
Don't you think she would say, but I really wish I could wrestle in the United States instead of being stuck in Mexico? Or
if anything would have been different, I might be in a different place. I might be a different person.
Like the United States.
My ego might be through the roof. Who knows? Blanchard said what happened to her in early 2020 led to struggles with her mental health. The quote, when everything happened to me, it was even a tough topic to even talk about. I remember I was living in Tijuana at the time, and I remember some days I would wake up, I didn't even have the strength to live that day. So I would just go back to bed, and I would be in my bed all day long. There were days where I was tired about life just because my identity was wrestling. I didn't know who I was without it, and in a matter of less than 24 hours, it was like from here to nothing. From contract offers from the biggest companies, more money than I'd ever seen in my life, to nothing. This whole storyline we had built for 8 or 9 months to me begging the TNA office that day, like, I don't want to win it, I don't want to do this. And after I didn't go home, I went on a 20...
you're losing me around the far turn there.
Well, she's lost me a little bit about that, but I guess she's talking about... Let's stop right there and get your thoughts on what she's saying here, apparently, about her mental health struggles dealing with...
Well, I was waiting because still nobody has said... She hasn't either said, I didn't do this, it's all a bunch of bullshit what these girls say, or I apologize for doing this. Now, saying she wouldn't change anything indicates that she doesn't believe she's done anything wrong, but she's not saying that out clearly. She's not saying that clearly, but at the same time, she's not saying she didn't do it. What is she saying here?
Well, she's not really saying, I think she's saying that she personally felt, after everything fell apart quickly in 24 hours, that she felt very, she was obviously very upset
Well,
about
yes.
that.
Well, if somebody is wrongly convicted of crime and goes to prison, they feel rotten about it too. But also, if somebody gets caught robbing a bank and goes to prison, they feel rotten about it too. So I want more clarity on, is she defending herself or just saying, well, I did it then, but I've changed. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, Fightful had tweeted out an article. Tessa Blanchard details personal struggles after TNA title win and TNA release. And Chelsea Green responded to that. I don't wish self-harm or thoughts of suicide on anyone, and I hope she has found peace. However, a simple I am sorry goes a long way. We haven't heard that yet. Accountability matters, and a redemption tour of interviews won't erase the actions of an egotistical bully.
Well,
so again, we don't know what happened, but several women had these things, and like you just said, she didn't really say much about either I'm sorry or this is all bullshit. And Chelsea Green came right out and said, you didn't even say I'm sorry.
It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. I just want you to know, after all that we've been through, I'm stuck in Tijuana.
Oh, come on. Any closing thoughts on the plight of Tessa Blanchard?
I met her one time in Charlotte at one of the fan fests and reunions. Very pretty, attractive girl, very nice to me. I've seen her wrestle on video several times, a few years back, and I thought she was probably at least one of, if not the best in-ring female wrestler at the time in the business. That was before Rhea Ripley, but I wasn't comparing anyone to Rhea at that point. But, but something has to be wrong as to why you wouldn't use a talent like that unless everybody else was carrying pitchforks and torches for her.